Here are 3 live ball drills I end up going back to time and time again in my own practice routine that I believe are essential in order to help you get to the next level and increase your consistency. The higher level you go, your training partner should be able to push you in these 3 otherwise very simple drills. The first live ball situation drill is to play mini pickleball. It's best to do timed rounds. I recommend a minimum of 3 minutes, especially for 3 players, so that everyone has a turn to be by themselves. If the solo person wins, they switch to the other half of their own side. If the duo wins, they will also switch places. The solo person can hit anywhere, while the 2-player side will hit to the half of the court the solo person is standing in. Another variation, play first to 11, rally scoring. You can't speed the ball up until after 2 or 3 or 4 hits, whatever you decide, including the feed, depending on if points end quickly or not. So in other words, if points are ending pretty quick, it's best to do a 4-ball dink rally before you can speed up the ball. It's also best to note that even in the cooperative portion of this live ball drill, especially if you do the 4-ball rally, you should think to put pressure on each other right away by making each other move and keeping your teammates on their toes. Don't just hit dead dinks right to each other. The second drill was introduced to me by my friend and one of my drill partners, Aaron Franklin. Definitely best done on timed rounds, and be sure to do this drill on both the right side of the court as well as the left. I like to spend more time on this drill, so 4 to 5 minutes can be extremely beneficial, and that's per side. The solo person stays in the transition zone, free to move around the zone to get to the ball, but should stay in the transition zone during the duration of the drill. Bonus, if you can count how many times your shot lands in the kitchen during each timed round without the NBZ line players being able to volley your drops, the person with the most drops wins.
I know what we're doing in our next lesson, Cheryl. Sorry.
It's important to note in this drill, if you notice, I do hit the ball high quite a bit. However, it's not the height that's usually an issue, it's the power and height. So what I like to tell my students is make sure that you give it height so that you can clear the net and have that consistency and safety, and not be afraid of hitting it high so that you can clear the net and then you'll be ready for the next shot. The reason why the height is good too is if it drops quick into the kitchen and has that good arc to it, it usually is consistent and it's also hard to attack. In fact, a lot of the pros aim higher than we realize because they're just trying to get it over and they can trust that they're able to get to the next ball after. What happens with my students and a lot of people is that we give up too quickly once we hit a high ball, but this drill encourages you to hit it a little higher so that you can be more consistent. And then eventually from there, you'll find your sweet spot. In this last drill, the goal is to keep the ball in play without missing and working on drops as you slowly progress forward and back throughout the transition zone. The emphasis of this drill is to be slow and steady throughout the transition zone. I see too many students and players rush through this zone unbalanced, and this drill is to help emphasize being steady and controlled with your body, your legs, your footwork, and positioning as you work your way up and back through the zone. Coming from tennis, people call it the no man's land, but it is not the no man's land. Handling this zone can be the difference between you and the next level.
Good job, everybody.
Yay! Thanks, everybody.